Today, we are making small batch a lemon poppy seed bread. It is so quick to put together. It's moist, it's tender, it has just the right amount of lemon goodness, and you're gonna love the crunch of the poppy seeds. So we're gonna start this recipe by combining our sugar and our egg, and we are using 1/3 cup of sugar and 1 egg. All right, so we're just going to mix that together so that our egg and sugar are all incorporated, and then we are going to add in the rest of our wet ingredients. So now, a lot of times in recipes that have you combine the wet ingredients and then the dry ingredients, I cheat and I just throw everything in together. But with this particular recipe, because we're working with such a small amount of batter, I do mix them separately because it helps prevent over mixing. And if you over mix this quick bread, it tends to get tough. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to add in the rest of our wet ingredients. I have 2 tablespoons of sour cream or plain Greek yogurt. You can use whichever one you prefer. We have 2 tablespoons of canola oil or some just mild flavored oil. You could use a vegetable oil too, or avocado oil, something like that. And then we're going to add in our lemon juice. And I'm going to show you my favorite little lemon squeezer here. You take half of your lemon and you're going to want to put it in this way, but don't put it in that way. That's the correct way. And we're just going to squeeze it. And we need about 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. So depending on the size of your lemon will depend on how much you need. But I got out of 1 medium-sized lemon, everything that I needed. But we're also going to use, probably put in a little bit more, probably 2 tablespoons, some lemon zest. So you always want to zest your lemon before you juice it, okay? And you just use a microplaner, just like this, and get that top layer. Don't go down into the white stuff, just the yellow stuff. And we've got about 1/2 teaspoon of lemon zest. This is going to give our bread just a nice light lemon flavor. It's not overwhelmingly lemon. So if you have some people that don't like lemon, they're probably still going to like this bread because the lemon's flavor is not overly strong. All right, we got our wet, now we're gonna do our dry. All right, so now we are ready to combine our dry ingredients, and we're gonna add our flour first. And we are going to use 1/2 cup, and how I like to measure my flour is I just take it in there and kind of fluff it, scoop it up, and then take a knife and scrape off the top and add that in. Now we need 1/2 cup, plus we need 2 tablespoons. So we'll just do the same, just scrape off the top, make sure you get the right amount. And then we're going to add in our poppy seeds, a very important ingredient. And we've got 2 teaspoons of poppy seeds, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. We'll just go ahead and I just like to fluff all those ingredients together, make sure they're evenly incorporated. And then I like to make just a little well in the bottom there. And then we're going to add in our wet ingredients. So mix just until you can't see any more of the flour. Because remember, we don't want to use a hand mixer, electric mixer. Just do it by hand so that you make sure that you do not over mix. So for our small batch bread, we're going to use a little small loaf pan. This measures about 3 by 5 by 5.5 to 6. I'm going to use my favorite, a nonstick spray. I love this stuff. Just spray it, and then we're going to get all of that batter out into our pan. We are going to bake it in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 30 minutes. You want it to be starting to turn golden brown along the edges and slightly on the top. You can, stick in a toothpick and it comes out clean. You know your bread is done. So while our bread is baking in the oven, we're going to mix up the lemon glaze. Now this glaze is really going to give it some lemon punch. So if you aren't a huge lemon fan, you might want to leave the glaze off. It is my favorite part of the bread. It's going to create this crunchy coating that is amazing. If you're a lemon lover like I am, make sure you check out my very favorite lemon dessert of all time, lemon angel pie. You're gonna love it. So to make our glaze dough, we're gonna take 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and then enough lemon juice. I've got about 1 tablespoon in here that is gonna create just a nice glaze. You want it fairly runny because you want it to soak into the bread. That's what's gonna create that yummy, lemony, crunchy coating on the bread. Be sure to keep stirring it so that you get all the sugar dissolved. All right, lemon bread is done, and we are going to put our glaze on it. Now, you want to do it while the bread is warm. Just pour it over the top. You want it to soak down into the sides too and all over the top. Now, this bread has cracked down the top, and sometimes people wonder, oh, what happened to my bread? It cracked. Well, with a quick bread like this, you want it to crack. As it cooks, the outside exterior of the bread cooks first. As the interior continues to cook, it rises up and cracks that surface. So you want that crack. Now what we're going to do is we wanted this glaze to soak all the way down in. So we're going to take our knife and kind of push on the sides of the bread so that all that glaze soaks down in. Our lemon poppy seed bread is perfect for a fancy afternoon tea, for Easter brunch, or just anytime you are craving something sweet. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. Enjoy this taste of spring, and I'll see you in the next video.